I got two requests to take a look at this video. Oh, man. One of them was from Nervous Breakdown. The other one was from Mr. Inferno Gomez. In fact, when I got the other one, I was like, all right, let me look at this video. And I watched it. The moment I got to the 1 minute and 45-second mark, I paused, I rewound, and started taking notes. Only to find out that this is a poorly researched video. It is a caricature of misinformation. It can't even misinform you very well. Do you know why? Because all you got to do is go to sources like IGN, look at PlayStation's own blog, and you'll just see, infinite amounts of counter arguments to their points that they're making. I think these people actually think that you gamers are dummies. They literally bank on that possibility that you might be foolish, because it's insulting the way they actually present information and think that somewhere, somehow, you're going to believe the dross that they're actually putting out here. And you know the saddest thing? The check is cleared, 194,000 views. Let me show you how this video has successfully lied and painted a poor picture within the first 1 minute and 45 seconds or 1 minute and 50 seconds, and you'll see for yourself. Are you ready? Start counting.
Back in 2005, teenagers were begging their parents to get them the new Xbox 360. With games like Halo exploding in popularity, it looked like Xbox was unstoppable, poised to dominate PlayStation and Nintendo for years to come. But just 2 decades later, almost no one has an Xbox set up in their living room anymore.
Yet there are 30 million people that do.
By 2024, Xbox recorded its lowest US console sales ever, moving just 2.7 million units. Hardware revenue plummeted
2.7 million units. There's still a jury out on that number. That number is not accurate. Where did they get 2.7 million units from? They listened to Lisa Su. They looked at an analytics company who took an estimate from another analytical company. No, they looked at Rockstar, who haven't taken estimates from another analytics company, and they took that number into account when John Welfare went in himself and broke that number down. And that 2.7 million is actually a big fat lie. Guys, we're 25 seconds into the video and there are already holes. And I haven't even gone to the worst part of the first minute and 50 seconds. Keep listening.
2% compared to the previous year. So what happened? How did one of the best consoles with one of the most popular gaming franchises in existence end up failing?
How does it happen that somebody can make a video with a conclusion of the next 3 years of that console generation already indicated? Do you see that? This is already failing. The console generation is just 4 years, about halfway into its own cycle. And in this particular instance, it is very obvious that the tides have already turned. It is very obvious that Xbox's business strategy is not dependent on the box or the hardware, that they can sell you software anywhere you are, thereby multiplying their users. In fact, it's also very obvious that even their own competitor acknowledged that they, when their data leaked in 2023, that they can supply multi-game via subscription, console games, and PC. So if Xbox has access to markets that its competitors have refused to leverage, how is it that they've already failed when those markets are not only keeping them, but also increasing them in their revenue and in their sales? This is a video that was made a day ago, that was published a day ago, I guess to say. In that one day, previously, we've seen the Elder Scrolls game become a massive hit for the year. In the time frame, we've seen Xbox games stay at the #1 chart on PlayStation because their business model is no longer the traditional one, and they basically moved away from it. And their other competitors understand this. PlayStation understands that. They're competing against Apple and Google, trying to get their mobile side of games in place. And also, they've established a PC storefront and a PC streaming service that basically bodied everybody else. Google tried and was out of the market. And PlayStation understands this fundamentally. But this particular video, within its first 30 seconds, thinks that you're an idiot and will not cite that existing prevailing context and the structure of Xbox's business. But it throws you and thrusts you into a console war thing. I will not be surprised if a console warrior of some kind sponsored this video, or this video was sponsored from a PR firm trying to make it seem like Xbox is actually failing. Xbox is in a PR nightmare, guys. Remember when I made that video and I said all Xbox can do is dunk on the brains of these fools by launching games every single minute that they can. If the game is done, put it out there. That's how Xbox is going to break this nightmare. Because the reason this video actually is stupid now, and you won't see anybody that's serious about understanding the gaming industry acknowledge it, is because it's actually broken already. Because this past week, Xbox literally floored all of its critics and all of its detractors by not only showing that the Game Pass model was one that could work and games could be successful in it, it's probably perked up the ears of other industry people who are in the business of making and distributing games. For them to see that there is a pathway for them to be able to serve customers, get their games in front of customers, and be able to build audiences that they could not reach on the traditional console model. And yet, this piece of junk video is out here with, it's called, the channel is called The Infographics Show. You mean the Misinfographics Show?
We'll explore that in today's episode of The Infographics Show, the real reason Xbox is failing. It's September 2023 and you head home with your newest console purchase in over 5 years, the new Xbox Series S. You hadn't heard much about it, but you saw it in the store and, well, it's the latest Xbox. You have to try it out and see how it holds up to the PlayStation 5. As you plug it in, you pause for a moment trying to remember why you left Xbox in the first place.
That's a presumption.
Whatever, why live in the past? You go online to check out which games to buy and then you see it. A new Halo. That's the game that made you fall in love with the system all those years ago in the first place. A wave of nostalgia washes over you as you eagerly buy the game, hoping to relive the magic. You boot up Halo Infinite and start playing, but something feels off. The gameplay is dull, the environments are uninspired, and the quality of the online service sucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, this is the game that found its way to one of the top sold games on PC. As much as it has its criticisms, this game was played and generated significant revenue for Xbox for, I think, a number of years. Just putting that out there. I mean, is this supposed to be a well-researched video? Is this supposed to be like a, you know what?
Disappointed, you decide to check out another tentpole Xbox series like, wait, where are all the big games for Xbox? What about that huge RPG that everyone's talking about? You could have sworn the developer announced it was coming to Xbox.
You see what they're setting up here?
Check and it's available on PlayStation. What? Why isn't it on Xbox? In fact, why isn't anything popular available on Xbox?
Do you know why? The Misinfographics Show people. Because PlayStation happened. I'm going to go ahead and since they brought up RPG, this is the 1 minute and 45-second mark, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see what they're doing? Let's quickly go ahead and clean up this nonsense. At the time, there were two RPGs that, well, action adventure games or whatever it is you want to call them, that had already signaled that they were coming to Xbox. One of them, Project Eve, which was basically the game that became Stellar Blade, and Black Myth Wukong. Do you know what happened to both of them? Why they didn't show up on Xbox? PlayStation happened. In fact, not only did PlayStation happen, these two games launched and did not have an Xbox version. And do you know how we know that Xbox basically had this game blocked by PlayStation? Because the PlayStation Senior VP for Partner Development and Relations talked about how his team, made up of, he named the individuals, Christian Svensson and Sean Benson, who are good at finding hidden gems and nurturing them for up-and-coming companies that in some cases you don't know, give them support. And he mentioned that that team worked with games like Stray. They also took the same approach that led to their support of Genshin Impact, two games which were exclusive and did not make its way to Xbox at first. Black Myth Wukong, a game that did not make its way to Xbox after having announced it was going to Xbox, and Stellar Blade, a game which was announced as Project Eve going to Xbox and did not go to Xbox. This video presumes that you're stupid. Again, I'm being honest, guys. This video is calling you a dum-dum. It's literally an insult to gamers out there.
And that's the first big reason why Xbox is failing. Game developers just don't want to release their titles for the console anymore.
Do you see that? A very flawed conclusion. Why? Because at the time that they were knocking down these deals, right? They also went to another Korean publisher and developer, the Crimson Desert developer. But guess what happened in this case? The Crimson Desert developer turned them down. Not only did they turn them down, the information about their business practice actually came to light because PlayStation actually wanted an exclusivity deal that blocked the release of the game on Xbox for at least a year. A very interesting set of events. So if this video cannot acknowledge an article written by IGN and statements that was written by somebody who recorded the events in their shareholder meeting, they were saying this stuff to their shareholders, then this video is absolutely useless. I must say, I don't need to sit here and actually watch the rest of it because it basically has created a false premise to build its case on. And imagine if you build a house and a part of your foundation is already broken, your house is going to fall, or it's subject to elements pretty much easily eroding your home. So this video is already basically eroded by this false notion that these developers don't want to basically bring their games, not citing that the competitor has engaged with some of these developers in anti-consumer practices to prevent games from going there. I made the video this morning. It's weird that I made that video, before I started seeing the second request to actually cover this. And I said, Xbox gamers, you don't need to be begging for these games. These developers have gotten too comfortable thinking that somewhere, somehow your money is going to be waiting for them. You also need not encourage them or grace them with your monies when they finally get, enough fresh air to come then and start telling you, hey man, we're bringing this game to you. You need to make them sweat. They need to be the ones that are grateful for the fact that they have access to your funds. This is where the self-respect for gamers comes into play. This is why PC gamers continue to body PlayStation. They beat PlayStation into submission. Remove that stupid PlayStation Network account creation crap. Else we're not buying the game. We're going to block you. We literally can block you. And many PC gamers on Steam, they blocked PlayStation. And PlayStation finally, they listened. And that's a big, massive publisher with its own hardware platform. Yet, somewhere, somehow, this video thinks that you are an idiot and comes in with this. Gosh.
Why? Well, the Xbox Series S is part of the problem.
I thought that was the end of the brain rot. Here we go, the Xbox Series S being part of the problem. Y'all remember the Xbox Series S is part of the problem? Yet, they leaped over this reality here. And believe you me, if you hear the game that they cite, your eyes are probably going to roll and fall into your skull. Make sure you keep your head down.
Provides inconsistent support for third-party developers. Many game developers have experienced technical problems getting their games to work on the system. Xbox.
Many. Do you know what many is? Many. M-A-N-Y. What would the word many mean? A large number of. A large number of people, or many meaning the estimate. What would the estimate of many mean? Goodness. This video presumes you're a dummy.
Xbox released the Series S and the more powerful Series X together in November of 2020. An interesting decision, instead of just releasing one new console to center the hype around.
I just smell Twitter fanboy all over this video. I don't know why.
Compatibility between the two systems has actually created a whole host of other problems for the company, and we'll get to that soon as well. But regarding the technicals of gameplay, the S seems to be the one causing the issues. As Larian Studios said when asked why Baldur's Gate 3 had been released for PlayStation but was not yet available on Xbox, we've been developing the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 for some time now.
Bro, they developed that PC version in early access over time. Larian is one of the most fortunate companies out there. I still say that till date. This company, they developed Baldur's Gate 3 in early access for many years. When did Baldur's Gate 3 come out? Let me show you something really crazy. Do you want to see something really crazy? Baldur's Gate 3 came out in 2023. Okay? It came out in 2023. When you go to the Steam Best games in numerous given years, right? Like 2022 or whatever it is, you'll see Baldur's Gate 3 as a game that actually did bring in a significant amount of revenue before the year that it actually came out because it was in early access. The game was actually launched in early access and people were paying the full price to support the development of this game. So these developers, you could tell that resources was not the thing that was on their, playing cards at the time. They were just trying to survive, right? So when the boss of Baldur's Gate 3 went on that FPS podcast, to Skill Up and his buddies, he said, we tried to ship the games together and it almost sunk us. So what did they do? They didn't have enough resources to finish their development of the game on Series X and S. They would launch on PlayStation. And Xbox said the game's got to work the same. They even got a concession from Xbox, probably after a lot of negotiation and a lot of, hey man, Xbox, man, you got to hook us up. Hey man, Xbox, you got to hook us up. And Xbox was like, all right. And I'm sure they had to commit that they were going to finish it before Xbox allowed for them to go ahead and launch the game on the series without the co-op. A lot of people jumped to freaking stupid conclusions, ended up clowning themselves when Baldur's Gate 3 finally launched its co-op on the Series S. So all the talk about because the Series S and the technical issues, it's absolutely nonsense because the only game that they cite is Baldur's Gate 3. Actually, the only games they cite in this video, I'm going to save you time, is Baldur's Gate 3 and Black Myth Wukong, of which we now know from the horse's mouth that Black Myth Wukong was copped by PlayStation and Baldur's Gate 3 could always run co-op on the Series S. The developers finally got skill when they got money. Interesting, right? When they finally got some sales out there, they got skill.
We encountered a few technical issues in the development of the Xbox version that prevented us from feeling 100% confident in announcing it. We were unable to get split-screen co-op to the same standards on both Xbox Series X and S, which is a requirement for us to be able to release it. Baldur's Gate 3 eventually made its way to Xbox Series S and X in December 2023, but the damage had already been done.
What damage?
By that point, many gamers who were choosing between an Xbox Series S or X and a PlayStation 5 simply went with the PlayStation 5 instead.
How many PlayStation gamers bought a PS5 for Baldur's Gate 3? This video is absolutely stupid, guys. Please, gentlemen and ladies, I cannot with this brain rot, bro. Because this person has no idea what's going on in the gaming scene. Whoever wrote this script wrote a piece of propaganda and put it out there. Let me tell you something. A lot of big channels, when you look at what's trending in terms of getting views, it's usually videos like this that have this concern about Xbox. Because the mainstream thought is that Xbox is this, woe is me and blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you, these people are setting Xbox up for basically taking over the gaming industry because the more they continue to make videos like this, the easier they make Xbox walk into its next acquisition. These guys don't even know what they're even creating. They've created such a monster that I used to always think that PlayStation would probably be able to go ahead and respond to Xbox's position, but they're not going to be able to do so because Xbox is going to be able to easily cite videos like these, and these videos are going to pretty much cakewalk them. Do you really think regulators know about all the intricacies and all of the different, contexts? They really don't. Oh my gosh. Because when the game finally launched on Xbox, and this is just a final point, Xbox gamers got a shout out from their community manager who said, thank you for letting this game become one of the top paid games on your platform. On PlayStation, on the other hand, nobody gave that kind of a shout out because most PlayStation gamers are busy playing their third-party rot in terms of live service. I mean, Xbox gamers are doing the same thing too, but it was Xbox gamers who got a shout out. But this video can't know that. Why? Is there a reason to actually investigate anything these days? You could just make a video and amass a lot of views. Some people told me that, oh, your channel isn't growing on YouTube. I'm like, bro, if you say the truth, you think your channel is going to go ahead and just grow? Who wants popularity in console war brain rot? Nobody. Everybody wants their own opinion and thought process and their little box to be validated. So, of course, people are going to be, do you know how many people are mad at, at the stuff that I say that's true? Do you know how many videos I had to make to basically point out, hey, by the way, one of your bosses just said that, they worked and got a relationship that was similar to other exclusives like Black Myth Wukong, and all that nonsense you've been talking about the Series S is a bunch of hokey, and a lot of people said to me to show them where they made the deal that the game should be exclusive, literally asking me to find a deal where it was signed when other games that they've enjoyed as exclusives, they never requested for those documents. They never requested for those signatures or the deals because in their minds, they have to be correct. It's a belief system at this point. I understand and I know this. And so wherever this video came from, it needs to crawl back into that hole, or it needs to stay up, because either way, the video is an L for anyone who believes it or who even made it. Because here's what you do if you understand chess. And if I was Phil Spencer, it's stuff like this that I'm going to use to go ahead and just stroll my way into my next acquisition. And I'm going to make it one that is basically pertinent on all this nonsense that you guys are basically throwing out here. Or y'all are going to have to basically see a different kind of Xbox, and then that would probably maybe have the regulators or whoever is raising concerns go actually look at the truth. Because remember, 1 minute ago when they were trying to acquire Activision Blizzard King, everybody was crying that Xbox was a monopoly. Now they're saying that Xbox is dead. Do you see it? Do you see it? I see it. Thanks guys for having me touch this video, but it's an icky video. Peace out.